Hi there, everyone. Good morning. Well, we are at the end of the year. December 30th today. Unbelievable. Can you believe it? I don't know. Are we finally done with 2020? Makes me wonder all the funny memes that have come out about 2020 and all the excuses of all the craziness. It's like, well, it's just 2020. And, 2021 in the beginning of it, the first quarter probably is not going to be that much different. So I don't know what excuses we're going to use for that in the first quarter. But yeah, so we're going to talk about 2020 a little bit today. Just want to find out what it's been like for you. What are some funny stories that you might have had? What are some things you learned? What are some good things? What are some bad things if they happen to you? And then a little bit about 2021. What have you thought about that? What are your feelings for next year? And are you optimistic? Do you have big plans? Do you do goals? So we'll talk about that. So I'd love to hear from any of you. If you're on today, say hi, say hello, and chime in. Let's make this participatory, if we could. So with that, let me do a quick little intro. So it's the end of the year, and oh, what a year, right? So let's stay tuned. Let's talk about this crazy year of 2020 and what we can expect for 2021. All right. So, what do we got? So, my name is J. Scott MacMillan. I am the author of the book, Be the Hero of Your Life. This is a book that I wrote to help me figure out how to get unstuck in my life. When I was in a big rut, things were not going good with my health, my marriage, my finances, and I had to dig deep inside to figure out what inside of me was holding me back, what was causing my problems from getting my life back on track. And so I wrote it all down in this book. And then I started life coaching and teaching people how to do just that, get their lives unstuck. And so if you feel like you're in a rut, or if 2020's got you in a rut and you feel like you want to have some new techniques, some new ideas on how to get out of that rut and make 2021 the best year ever, connect with me. Let's talk. Let's see if we can come up with some new strategies. All right. So anyways, so let's see. Today, it is in the Overland Park, Kansas City area, 32 degrees on Apple Watch, and let's do weather cam. Hold on, weather cam. Oop, might help if I get my thumb out of the way there. Okay, so let's see what it looks like today. Cloudy, but not too bad. Not a bad day. It's going to be about 32 degrees, I think, around here in the Kansas City area. How about where you guys are? Any snow? Anybody in an area with snow? I wish we had some snow. I don't mind one or two snowstorms, but that's it. In my home state of Montana, it's been nice and warm there. And they haven't, well, not nice and warm, but they haven't had a lot of snow yet. The ski hills have got some snow, of course. But, yeah, anyways. So what do we got? What do we got today? So I heard that the vaccine isn't going as fast as people wanted, and I heard a quote today that Biden even warned that, said, "People, this whole thing's not going to be over very soon. May not even be until a year." I think he said a year or a couple years or something like that. I don't know. It's probably just a dig on Trump, for not getting it out fast enough or whatever. I think we'll be okay. Everything takes growing pains, right? Hey, Crystal, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, everything takes growing pains. So we'll get this vaccine up to speed, and we're gonna all get vaccinated, and we'll put this pandemic. I don't know if we'll put it right behind us, but it will be on its way out. And I think question is how long into 2021 is it going to take? But if we all get vaccinated, then I think we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Hopefully it will work the way they say it is going to work. The other thing I wanted to do before we dive into just talking about 2020, I want to show the National Geographic pictures of the year. I mean, I'm a photographer, love pictures. I love everything to do with that. And of course, National Geographic always has great exposés and pictures. And I'm just going to flip through some of these. This is an amazing picture. I don't even know how they did this on this monument. You can see George Floyd's kind of image there about the Black Lives Matter, and the top part has that written on it. I mean, that's just an amazing picture. Wow. I don't know. That's just an amazing picture. But this is some of the images that stood out for them at the end of the year. This one is about the riots and some of the violence that happened in the riots. I think this one was another protest that people had staged about Black Lives Matter. This one is in the early days of the pandemic. They couldn't get enough PPE, and so this is a doctor using, I guess, like a gas mask. This is a picture of, I think, in Wuhan or somewhere. No, I don't know if it's in Wuhan. Let's see. It's in, I don't know where it is. Somewhere. Oh, Turkey. And they're disinfecting the streets. This is a thermal image when they were trying to get people's temperature and coming up with new technologies. That may be something that's, I think, good out of the pandemic, is that some new technologies have come out. This one, I believe, is people in India that were impacted financially from the pandemic. This is a powerful picture. I believe somebody losing somebody to COVID. Other people affected. These are just amazing pictures of, normal people being affected. This is a powerful image. I hope you guys can see these. This another powerful image. I think it's a priest blessing coffins. This was, I guess, in Beirut. Just an explosion, probably normal, not normal, but what they see. Look at this one, but the fires in California. Whew. I mean, some of these images are just amazing. Okay, now this is a crazy one. I don't know if you can see this very well, but this, when I looked at this, I thought, oh my God, what is that? I knew it was ice. I eventually thought it might have been animals. This is, let me read this. Bloodstains on the ice where harp seals give birth. Wow, that's crazy. It's just a crazy picture. It's just amazing, a picture. And then look at this one. This is locusts, I think in Africa? Kenya, yeah. I don't know. National Geographic is still so cool. It's a picture, I believe, of a guy who they name a king, I guess, of Mardi Gras each year, but he died of COVID. This is an empty school, I believe, in Poland. I mean, it's just iconic images that will live on forever in this year. And, it's funny, I was talking to my kids last night, and, oh gosh, look at this one. Yeah, this is they suspect that this was a COVID victim in Indonesia being wrapped as a mummy. Anyways, I could do this all day. The photographs are amazing. They're iconic. I was talking to my kids last night about this and saying, you're going to remember 2020. And, I was thinking, like, especially in 40 years or 50 years when, they'll be older, but they'll be alive and it'll have been a long, long time since this, but they'll still remember this day, just like we remember 9/11 and will forever, in my life. Yeah. So, because it's just an unprecedented year. So, has anybody gotten any stories about their year? I'd just like to know what you think of overall, because 2020, the issues of 2020, the pandemic, and especially the financial fallout, it didn't hit everybody the same, and some people were affected deeply, and then some of us weren't. I wasn't that affected that much, and in fact, my business actually kind of took off because, as a coach and a writer and a content creator, I'm sitting pretty much at my computer, most of the time, creating content anyways, and there was just more avenues for that. There was more need for it, and so it's interesting. So I'll talk a little bit about my story, and then I'd love to hear anybody chime in on their stories of good, bad, or indifferent for 2020. But mine started off actually really hopeful. I had published my book, like it was December 5th, and I was extremely excited and was kicking off my life coaching practice, and I was very hopeful, and I was doing a live show, streaming show with someone for three days a week, and we were talking about, and as the pandemic hit, we were talking about all the issues of it, because at the time, we didn't know how long it was going to last. We just knew it was unprecedented, and we were talking with a lot of people about it on a live show 3 days a week. And then the George Floyd incident happened, and all the social unrest happened, and we talked about that, and it was quite interesting. And then that show ended, and then I started doing this one, Hero Life Hump Day, and talking a little bit more on personal development issues, but still just open to talk about what's going on in the world. So I published a couple courses. I published a course on quantum creating. I published my program, Hero's Journey Success Formula, which is an online coaching program. So that got kicked off. So lots of good stuff for me. I enjoyed doing this Hero Life Hump Day, and just getting the message of the hero's journey out there, and what we can do to stay positive. One of the things I kept trying to remind people in the early days of the pandemic during these shows was, do what you can to calm your nervous system down, to meditate and pray more, so that you can stay as calm as possible. Because when we're uptight and we're nervous and we're anxious and we're depressed, we're going to affect our immune system. So knowing that, this virus, how our immune system is going to handle it, we needed strong immune systems. We still do today. So among, staying healthy, washing your hands, wearing a mask, staying healthy, eating right, taking your vitamins, as Mom would say, is really important. But mentally, people need to understand, if they don't already, how important your mental state is to your physical health. It's hugely important and tied into it. So that's still really important now, is to do whatever it takes to stay as calm as you can. And part of that is just, knowing what's causing some of your anxiety. And so I like to talk about people taking their hero's journey, meaning to look at your life as a journey and to figure out possibly what are some of the things that maybe started early in your life that you've kept as a limiting belief, or as a belief that has gotten into your subconscious now that affects you as an adult. And when we're triggered and we're anxious about something, a lot of times we can trigger that, we can trace that back to some limiting belief that we created in our early years in our life, or at some point in that early time in our life. And if we can uncover those, then it can help us now in our adult lives to deal with life better, to understand that that was a belief that was created. For example, a lot of people have the belief that I'm not good enough, or people aren't going to pick me or choose me, or whatever that was, because it maybe in their youth they got teased or whatever, or they didn't get picked for the volleyball team or the kickball team at recess. Um, and that can affect somebody quite a bit when they're young, and they can create limiting beliefs that say I'm not good enough. Well, then they go through their life, and of course they go to college or they go to get a job, and they're living their life. But when it comes to something that maybe somebody says something to you that sounds like they're kind of making fun to you as an adult, and your reaction gets triggered back to the way you were when you were a child, and you get angry and you get defensive and you get, whatever, instead of just saying, whatever, that person, it isn't true, that person doesn't really matter, and just slough it off and move on. So that's what uncovering your limiting beliefs can do. And so for me, I try to tell people that, especially in this environment, when everything is sort of on high alert and our nervous systems are tense and we're anxious, these little things can happen and kind of explode our lives up. And if we can uncover some of that, we can just live healthier lives, mentally and physically. And they're certainly connected, right? We all know that our mental health affects our physical health, and our physical health, obviously, I think we know that affects our mental health. If we're not feeling good mentally, we're not probably on either. Anyway, so it's kind of a little detour, but it's what I firmly believe, and I hope that we're all taking care of ourselves mentally and physically right now. So so for me, 2020 was extremely eye-opening. And I have hoped that, it's my hope that what 2020 has taught us is that life is full of changes. And life's going to throw us curveballs. And how are we going to handle those? Are we going to curl up in a ball and, let life come at us and affect us in really negative ways? Or are we going to just push it away, ignore it, not think it's real, and just move on about our life like nothing has happened? Or are we going to learn something from this new situation in our life? And really, this is a great metaphor for everything that happens in our life, no matter if there's a pandemic or not. When life hits us with something, we're either going to cower down from it, we're going to shove it away, which either of those I don't recommend. Or we're going to take it in, take a breath, take a pause, find out what we can learn from it, and let it move through us and inform us and help us understand what's going on with it. Learn the lesson and move on, hopefully in a new fashion of learning something from whatever that situation is. So with 2020, I think for me the biggest thing was that well, there's lots of my mind is going crazy. Lots of things about the stubbornness of people and not wanting to either admit it, or that it being politicized, the pandemic being politicized. I just don't get that. How wearing a mask had something to do with personal liberties. I don't get that. It made sense to protect ourselves and protect our loved ones, anyone that were around. That just made sense to me. But for a lot of people, it didn't. But basically, using the pandemic in 2020 and the newness of the situation to be aware and to almost use it as a catalyst to ride this wave of change, to help us almost get excited about the new opportunities that are going to rise. So instead of saying, well, I can't do this and I can't do this and I can't do this anymore, what about thinking about all the new things, like we all adopted Zoom or video calls and so many more of these live broadcasts. People went to that, and whether you ultimately like that or not, it really helped a lot of us out being able to connect like this. It really did. and it got that technology out there to people that probably wouldn't have never used it. And now we know that that's a viable option for a lot of things. One very small example. But the point I feel is that the change happened anyways, right? The change is happening. So let's figure out how to use the momentum of this change to push us into the future and to be better people, to do better, to realize, and all the first responders. And most of us are pretty good about recognizing how that they're heroes anyways, but now it's so much more evident. I mean, these are the people on the front line, like we're sitting in our homes or whatever, and they are out there on the front line every day dealing with this, working to help and heal people, and yet dealing with all of the crush of the magnitude of what they're seeing. I think we've learned that they're just immeasurable, and how valuable they are, and how appreciative we should all be, certainly for them. And the essential workers that I don't think a lot of us thought about much, like grocery store workers, people stocking the shelves, our barbers and our hairstylists. Those have been heroic jobs that have been out there, standing out on the front lines, taking it, and so that we can have haircuts and that we can feed our faces still. Those are amazing heroes. Hey, Christina. So, I think that was a thing that hopefully we learned. But to understand and think about people like that more, and in the future, to understand also that we're really all the same. This virus taught us that we are all the same. It's going to affect us all the same, no matter our skin color or our dialect or where we come from, how much money we have. It's going to affect us all. We're all equal. Hopefully the virus taught us that. Let's think about that moving forward. Gosh, I really didn't prepare this part. Hi, Janet. I didn't prepare this part. I'm just kind of winging this out my head, the things to be grateful for 2020, and to that helped us learn moving forward. What other things, guys? What other things has 2020 taught us in a good way? What did we learn in a good way from 2020 that we can carry into the future? So anyways, for that. Now, for me, I didn't feel like writing goals out this year, and getting all goal oriented. It just seemed like, we did that. I did that for 2020. I usually do that, and it just didn't really matter one way or the other. No matter what happens this year, I just decided I'm going to focus on my intuition. I'm going to focus on trusting that I'm going to know what I need to do at the right time. I'm really going to lean into that. So I've got some thoughts and ideas, but I'm not going to do a big structured goal setting and tracking system like I used to do. And I think it will always help me in some ways, but I think I'm just going to boil it down to a few major issues. So part of it is I'm going to learn to let my creativity just expand and open, and not let goals and timelines necessarily dictate it. Because in the past, I get these creative bursts of energy, and I want to, I'm a photographer at heart, so I want to do a lot of photographing and a lot of editing in Photoshop, or create really meaningful videos. But yet I'm like, well, I have to put out this content to get my coaching business, and I have to, write this Facebook post and do this podcast for my book, and those are all good, but I've stifled a little bit of my creativity. So this year, one of my goals is just to let that creativity flow. And so some of the things that I'm going to be doing. So I've also gotten more into leaning into the deeper meaning of our archetypes. And these are the 22 major archetypes of what's called the major arcana. And I am going to be diving deeper into the archetypes the hero's journey is the hero archetype is a major archetype of the hero. I'm going to expand on the hero's journey this year into more of the archetypes, what they can tell us, the symbology of these archetypes. What they really are is it's an energetic signature that we all have, and these archetypes can inform us of what are the energetic priorities and signatures and feelings and what we're living. And so the energy of the king or the magician or the jester, we all flow in and out of the energies or the feelings or the behaviors of those type of archetypes. So I'm going to dive much deeper into that. In fact, I'm going to create a YouTube channel that's going to really focus on the archetypes. And I may or may not focus doing on more polished YouTube videos and less live videos this year. We'll see. I like doing both. We'll see if I can continue to do both. But I'm really going to build on diving into that. So part of the creativity of that is, one, learning more about all these different archetypes, like the High Priestess, and this is the Emperor. Can't focus camera. Oh, doesn't want to focus. Anyways, so part of the creativity is, I don't know if some of you know me, have known me for a while or whatever. I don't typically have this scruffy beard and long hair where I look like Santa Claus now, which my kids have been having fun teasing me about. But through COVID, whatever, I thought, what the hell, I'm just going to let it grow out and see what it's like. So it's interesting because I've kind of feel like I've taken on this sort of wizard or magician kind of archetype just from, growing my hair out. And I'm going to kind of ride with that a little bit. So I'm going to do a photo shoot. Actually, it's funny. I contacted a costume company here, and so I'm going to be renting this whole costume of this wizard slash magician. And I'm going to be emulating, actually, let's see if I can find the card here. I'm going to be emulating this card. My camera doesn't want to focus on it, but of the magician. And I'm going to go into Photoshop and do a lot of editing from this. I may even create my own deck of these archetype cards from these. So that's going to really get that itch, that creative itch, where I'm going to be able to do some really fine photography, portrait photography. I used to be a portrait photographer, but I've been out of it for a while. So I'm kind of excited to get back into it and to create something that'll connect with this whole archetype journey that I'm on. And to help illustrate that, help bring out some of my creativity, might be kind of fun for other people. I might, have some friends of mine, come in and we'll do portraits, and we'll get somebody who wants to be the king or maybe justice, the high priestess. And we'll do some fun photo shoots. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how that goes. But that's a new creative endeavor that I'm going to be creating. And then just I guess getting into creating my YouTube channel. Also, a new area that I'm going to be looking into is I've noticed that, as coaches, authors, content creators, there's a lot of work you have to do just to get your stuff out there in social media. And we want to create, but there's a lot of stuff you have to do kind of behind the scenes to get your stuff out there on social media and all the different social media sites. So I'm going to be starting up a business. And I do a lot of this anyways. And I like the technical details of editing and getting your content out there in different areas. So I'm going to be starting a business and helping content creators, authors, coaches, people that have to create a lot of content, and they love that part, but they don't like the back end stuff, the editing and making, Facebook memes and different things. So I'll probably be hiring some virtual assistants to help me with that and then put that together. Also, I love to do video editing. And so that's another part that people want to create content, but they don't want to do the video editing part. So I'll be doing some of that, and I'll be rolling that business out hopefully this year. And I'll probably be calling that Hero Life Consulting. So I'll have Hero Life Coaching and then Hero Life Consulting. And it's, for me, it's about living the hero life. And the hero life is being aware of the energies that are flowing through your life and the different archetypal energies. So I'll be diving much more into the archetypes. So how about you guys? Any new endeavors, any new businesses, new ideas and thoughts you're going to have moving into the next year? Love to hear it. Get a drink of tea here. My throat's a little sore. Not sore, just dry. All right. So that's about it. I didn't have a lot to say. I just want to kind of wrap up 2020. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. I hope that you have a great New Year and that we can ride the wave of change. That's my new mantra. Ride the wave of change into 2021 and beyond. And let's see what happens. I think it's going to be the first quarter at least before we can get out again. But I'm really looking forward to that because I have to admit, just being in this isolation is been a challenge, just like it has for everyone. But we're going to get through this. So please continue to wear your masks, get your vaccination, and let's move on from this. Let's learn the lesson and move on from this. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I may not be doing one next week. We'll see. I'll keep you informed. Just watch out on my YouTube channel or my Facebook page or my emails. I'll let you know. But I'm going to be working on some YouTube videos, hopefully some fun YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. And, oh, Christina's got a comment here. Christina's going to organizing the spa retreat for healers. Oh, in Sedona. Nice. Teaching self-help in sleep and healthy life. Oh, I totally agree with that, Christina. Awesome. Yeah, in Sedona. That's a good place. I've never been there, but I've heard it's an amazing place. People love it there, and there's lots of good energy, right? Nice. Well, good luck with that, Christina. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, people. Well, I will see you soon. Have a great 2021 coming up. And be careful on New Year's and be safe. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.